Thank you, Faye. A dark night, cold in Liverpool, but Anfield stands perched on the edge of Stanley Park like a cathedral of light. And empty red seats, the Kop with its flurry of banners, a mass of banners covering almost all of the seats behind the goal to the right-hand side, including a huge banner with that famous Liverpool crest right behind the goal, red and green with the two eternal flames and the words, "You'll never walk alone," either side. The two teams out on the field of play. Liverpool are getting rid of those red and white tracksuit tops, and all in red, of course, away to the right of the halfway line. And Sheffield United in their green shirts and light gold shorts and socks, if you like, away to the left-hand side as we sit high up towards the top of this huge cavernous main stand. And "You'll never walk alone" rings out to an empty stadium. Well, Liverpool are hoping to capitalise on Manchester City's slip at West Ham earlier on, live on Talk Sport, and they do so with Alisson back in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Gomez and Robertson a back four, Henderson and Wijnaldum holding, Jota, Firmino and Mane, we think, in behind Mo Salah. Sheffield United without a league win so far this season, though they did pick up a point at home to Fulham last time out to get off the mark in the Premier League. Ramsdale in goal, Basham, Egan and Ampadu the back three, Baldock, Burge, Osborne, Lundstrom and Stevens in midfield, McBurney and Rhian Brewster, who makes his first ever Premier League start, ironically at Anfield of all places, up front. Danny Mills is alongside me. Not many people give Sheffield United a prayer tonight. Are you one of them?
On paper, I would say no, and I've already predicted I went for a 4-1 Liverpool win. But we've seen some bonkers results so far this season, haven't we? You know, some really strange things have happened. I think if Liverpool's attitude is right, you know, player for player, the confidence that they have, you know, they could go joint top this evening, you know, and go and put another little bit of a marker down. Obviously, with Manchester City, you would say they're possibly their main rivals, slipping up again and not picking up 3 points. Really good opportunity.
And Chris Wilder stood down below us. The Sheffield United manager, Jurgen Klopp, sat in his position in the dugout a long way down below us at the foot of the touchline here at Anfield. The floodlights are on, and we can see the fading lights of Liverpool city centre away in the distance to the left-hand side and to the right as well. And Sheffield United will kick the game off, playing from left to right towards the Kop in this opening half. Liverpool from right to left towards the Anfield Road end. And before the game gets underway, both sets of players take the knee in support of the words "Black Lives Matter." And we're underway, the fifth of 5 live commentaries we're bringing you on yet another blockbusting game day across the TalkSport network on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. The only place you can hear all the action, the only place you want to hear all the action. And here comes Sheffield United with Burge down the right-hand side straight away, plays a low ball in, cut up by Fabinho, headed clear by Robertson, up to the corner of the 18-yard box. Liverpool struggling to clear, but the ball trickles all the way through to Alisson, clad all in black, and immediately a high clearance downfield, up towards Salah, and a towering header away for Sheffield United by Ender Stevens. 0-0 on TalkSport, and we've had 40 seconds of play, but a fast and frenetic opening few seconds for both sides.
Yeah, Sheffield United putting the ball in behind Liverpool, you know, trying to cause them 1 or 2 problems, and that's what the manager will have said. He said, look, start bright, get after this team, you know, it's a new centre-half pairing, put them under pressure, let's see what they're made of, don't give them anything easy in the first 15 minutes.
Here is Sadio Mane looking to get in behind him. The goalkeeper's come a long way and Mane's knocked it past him, and that's a crucial interception by Egan, sliding in inside the 6-yard box to knock it behind for a Liverpool corner. It was almost a suicidal bit of goalkeeping by Ramsdale, who charged out to the edge of the 18-yard area. Mane easily beat him to it, played it into the 6-yard box beyond the goalkeeper. Salah tried to reach it, but Egan got there first.
Very, very lucky, Aaron Ramsdale. Massive misjudgment on the pace of the pass.
And Liverpool have a corner inside 90 seconds. 0-0 on TalkSport at the Anfield Road end. In by Robertson. Paul to the near post. Cut out by Burge. He sends the ball scooping high into the dark night sky. And now it's midway inside Sheffield United territory. And Baldock will blast the ball up into the Liverpool half and all the way through to Alisson.
It was a simple channel ball from Andy Robertson, just played down the side of the centre halves, down the side of Chris Basham. Mane got in behind him, and for some reason Aaron Ramsdale came sprinting out. The ball didn't even reach the 18-yard box. So I don't know what he was thinking. And then he was stuck in no man's land. Mane had a great touch to take it round him, sent him a little bit wide, but then as he tried to put the ball, he didn't quite get enough pace on the ball. Had he have done, Salah was in the middle, completely unmarked.
There's a yellow card for John Lundstrom as Alexander-Arnold has tried to catch the goalkeeper out here, and he very nearly did so with the most outrageous of set-piece routines from the halfway line. A free kick, and Ramsdale, all in yellow, backpedaling and touching it over the bar for a Liverpool corner.
Ramsdale just has a smirk. It's about a foot inside the Liverpool half. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I mean, what a fullback he is. That's unbelievable vision and ability to do that.
0-0 the score. Liverpool looking to start fast. That's a good reverse ball in by Alexander-Arnold. Sheffield United all over the place defensively in these early stages. Henderson on the far side, the right for Liverpool. Knocks it infield to Salah. Salah thinks about a shot, wearing number 11. Back out wide to Henderson. Sheffield United have everybody back behind the ball. Salah reverse pass for Mane. He knocks it down towards Firmino. Crucial clearance by Stevens for Sheffield United. And they're capped inside their own half. And fortunately for Sheffield United, the flag is up bright yellow on the far side of the field. And they'll have a free kick, and they'll have Danny Mills some time to breathe.
And they need it. At the moment, it's a little bit, don't panic, Mr. Manor, isn't it? You know, they're all over the shop at the moment. Nobody knows, you know, where they are in defence. Liverpool players getting time and space. But just going back to that audacious effort from Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's a foot inside his own half. He sees Aaron Ramsdale on the penalty spot, and he pings almost an inch perfect shot. Ramsdale's, well, he's struggling to get back. He finally gets a hand on it. I think his hand clatters the crossbar as well. He was panicking big time, and when it finished he had a little smirk and he thinks, I've just got away with one. But great vision from Trent.
It was extraordinary, and Ramsdale has already had a couple of hairy moments inside the opening 4 minutes at Anfield, but it is still goalless. And here's McBurney for Sheffield United, deep inside opposition territory, tall and lanky, his socks rolled up halfway down his shins, and Robertson will clear for Liverpool at the expense of a Sheffield United throw, again deep inside the Liverpool half on this near side. Baldock will take it. It's been a busy day around the grounds in the Premier League and the EFL as Ampadu comes forward, the Chelsea loanee for Sheffield United, a trio of red shirts surrounding him, pokes it wide to Osborne, and now Stevens, one of those overlapping central defenders for Sheffield United, out on the left wing position, right in front of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand. Lundstrom tries to cross, blocked off at the near post by Henderson, and it's another Sheffield United throw, 5 or so yards from the corner flag.
Henderson's going to be vitally important in this period where, you know, they're still working at a new centre-half pairing. Virgil van Dijk out. His leadership, his captaincy, you know, his ability to see danger and fill holes is going to be absolutely vital.
Lundstrom again for Sheffield United, a player who started his career at Everton. He's won a corner on the far side. He was booked, by the way, earlier on for a tackle on Salah, and just before that free kick from Alexander-Arnold.
I'm surprised that VAR didn't have a little look at that, because it was very, very late and it was dangerous.
It was a bad challenge. A clamour of green shirts in front of Alisson inside the 6-yard box. Corner whipped in by Lundstrom, high, punched away by Alisson two-handed. The flick by Mane out to the edge of the area, and now Salah can look to counter for Liverpool. His layoff is poor though. Sheffield United have it back. Ampadu, the curly hair, corner of the penalty area, tried to thread it down the right-hand channel for Burge. It was overhit and behind for a goal kick. It's Liverpool 0, Sheffield United 0, live on Talk Sport on game day, and here's Danny Mills.
The pace that Liverpool break with is exceptional, isn't it? You know, from that corner, the ball breaks out. In the end, Mo Salah gives the ball away. But 4 or 5 players, they just get on their bike and they just go, right, you know, whoever's got in possession of the ball, we are just going to run and sprint, and we are going to stretch the game. And if they don't get the ball, they're not overly concerned, because that leaves space for the midfield players.
And there's a great vigour and gusto about both sides, a real energy to the game and electricity in these opening stages, because Brewster was bearing down on Alisson there, and Fabinho just had to play the back pass sharply to the feet of his goalkeeper, who hammers it high up towards the halfway line, where Liverpool win a free kick. Elsewhere in the Premier League today, West Ham 1, Manchester City 1. That was live on Talk Sport as Alexander-Arnold looks to feed the ball into the channel for Salah, who's the wrong side of the defender, into the penalty area now. Stevens is back at his heels, so too Osborne. Sheffield United haven't got it fully clear yet though. Jota back by the corner flag, finds Alexander-Arnold. Henderson from 25 yards, whips in across, flicked away by Baldock for Sheffield United, kept in play by Robertson on this near side the Liverpool left.
It's great watching Liverpool from this high up. You know, when Henderson picks that ball up, as the ball's coming to him, Andy Robertson is making that run in behind the fullback. He knows that Henderson's going to, you know, they all know each other's game inside out, so that they're doing things before the players receive the ball, because they all have an understanding of each other. It's absolutely superb to watch.
And they have a free kick 10 yards into opposition territory on the near side of the field, Liverpool. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 2, Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. That was live on Talk Sport. Live right now on Talk Sport 2, UFC 254. And earlier, Talk Sport 2 brought you full commentary of the Gallagher Premiership Rugby Union final. Exeter beat Wasps 19-13 to secure an historic double. Here is Robertson, herring down the near side for Liverpool. Infield to Firmino, deep lying, middle of the Sheffield United half. How have Liverpool set up Danny Mills in these opening stages? Because, of course, Jota, Firmino, Mane and Salah all playing from the start for the first time.
Well, at the moment, they're playing 5 up front. Andy Robertson is left wing, Mane's inside left, you've got Firmino and Salah, and then Jota on the right-hand side at the moment, and then that changes, and it's almost 6 up front when Trent Alexander-Arnold comes forward. But it's as we thought it was going to be with Mo Salah, the main man.
The champions streaking forward in red along this bowling green of a surface. Salah is 5 yards from the corner of the 18-yard box. Sheffield United camped deep inside their own half. It's still 0-0 with 8.5 minutes played. The third live and exclusive Premier League commentary of the day on game day on Talk Sport. And the live football continues at a pace over the coming days. Monday night, Talk Sport 2, Brighton against West Bromwich Albion. Then we're into the Champions League again. Tuesday night, Marseille against Manchester City on Talk Sport. And much more to come throughout the week. Henderson for Liverpool, through to Firmino, edge of the D, finds Salah. Salah looks up, tries to flick it forward back towards Firmino. Actually, Jota was outside into his right. That would have been a better option, and Salah has now conceded a free kick.
Yeah, I don't think he saw him. You know, he was... Jota was behind him. Maybe didn't get a call. He just tried to poke it through, and then as he gave the ball away to Lundstrom, just tugged him back a little bit.
Jurgen Klopp prowling in the touchline, a tall and familiar figure with his baseball cap on and his white trainers. Must be dozens of rows down below us. We're right at the front of the third tier of the new main stand at Anfield. Long from Ramsdale downfield, the Sheffield United goalkeeper up towards McBurney, who is certainly the aerial target. High from McBurney again, little flick to find Brewster. Not much space for Sheffield United to work with, but a poor clearance from Fabinho, and then Lundstrom with a snapshot. It was well blocked, but they've conceded a free kick here, Liverpool, right on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Yeah, it's Fabinho that gives the ball away, and it gets sort of a little bit of a tangle, and then he dives in on McBurney, I think it was, and gives away the foul right on the edge of the box. Do you know what? That's interesting, because technically the line is the box. Just want to see if VAR are looking at this. Look, where's the foul?
It looks like it's virtually on the 18-yard line, doesn't it?
I think if VAR look at this, they might have to give a penalty.
VAR is checking for a
because it's on. If it's on the line, it's a penalty.
Fabinho coming together with Lundstrom.
Yeah, they are. VAR are now checking it. The referee's given the foul. So once he's given the foul, this is now just a case of whether it's inside or outside the box. I think this might be given as a penalty.
Mike Dean is the referee. Andre Mariner is the VAR. Fabinho's foot meets the ankle.
I think contact with a player is on the line. Look at his heel.
The electronic screens at Anfield all lit up with the words checking possible penalty.
For me, Ollie McBurney's foot is on the line. So therefore it has to be a penalty.
Well, I don't know why this check is so prolonged. It seems to be a case of millimetres in it. At the moment, Sheffield United and Liverpool both set up for a free kick. And Mike Dean has pointed to the spot. And Sheffield United have a penalty here at Anfield after a VAR review. Fabinho deputising for Virgil van Dijk. So impressive in Amsterdam in the week. But a foul on Lundstrom, and Sheffield United, Danny Mills, have a penalty, and we think the decision is correct.
It was against the run of play. You know, no one's denying that. But once you'd given the foul, it was then just a case of whether it was in or outside. And have to remember, the line is inside the penalty box. You have to be all the way over it. There has to be daylight, and there wasn't. And I just don't know why it took so long, because we saw it immediately.
Sander Berge at an empty Kop end for Sheffield United in green and gold. Alisson on his Liverpool return, bouncing up and down on his toes. Berge right-footed, scores! Alisson goes the wrong way, and it's a shock on under the Anfield floodlights. Berge scores for Sheffield United. It's Liverpool 0, Sheffield United 1.
Very cool penalty. Waited for Alisson to move. Now we're going to see the reaction from Liverpool. Fabinho's not happy, but he took a gamble. He made the challenge on the edge of the box. He didn't get the ball in any way, shape or form. He caught McBurney. It was a foul. I think we all accepted that. No one was disagreeing with that. It was then just a case of where the foul happened. And when Sander Berge steps up, superb. It was Fabinho that gave it away in the first place. It was a poor clearance that hit Lundstram, but then sort of came back towards him. And as he dives in, it's on the line.
It's a penalty.
There's no argument about that whatsoever. It's clearly on the line, and that means it's a penalty.
Sander Berge, just his second goal for Sheffield United. They haven't won here in the Premier League, here in Anfield, since 1994. They haven't won a Premier League game this season, and Liverpool have failed to keep a clean sheet in the top flight again. They trail by a goal to nil on TalkSport with 13 and a half minutes played.
Fabinho's an excellent player. Would Virgil van Dijk have made that initial poor clearance?
Well,
and then would he have gone in and lunged in for the second time? We don't know, but you would have to assume more often than not, no, he wouldn't have done.
Well, you would know if you're an orthodox defender. Maybe you don't make that challenge, and he's not.
The clearance was poor in the first place. The clearance, it was a weak clearance that hit Lundstram. It only travelled about 4 or 5 yards, and then it came back to McBurney, who had a touch, got it out of his feet. And maybe because he'd given that ball away, he was then too keen, too eager to try and win it back, when sometimes, you'd have said maybe Van Dijk would have just gone, OK, take a breath, given the ball away, now I'll just wait and make that proper challenge.
Danny Mills is alongside me. You can have your say on the Sports Bar Weekender tonight from 10 on TalkSport 2, 08717 223344, but I think it was a crystal clear spot kick, and now Liverpool have to respond. 10 yards from the penalty area, they have a free kick towards the near side of the left, so 15 yards or so infield from this near side touchline. They're unbeaten in the Premier League at Anfield in 61 games, stretching back to 2017, and in the unfamiliar position of trailing tonight. Alexander-Arnold is over the ball for Liverpool, so too Robertson. Sheffield United have everybody back. The penalty area also littered with red shirts at the Anfield Road end. In by Robertson, headed away by Egan, a good header up towards the edge of the D for Sheffield United, and now can Osborne break. Osborne surging at pace towards the halfway line. Fabinho with a firm but fair challenge, knocking the ball onto the advertising hoardings and sending Osborne sprawling. It's a Sheffield United throw.
Well, we know that Sheffield United can defend very, very well. So this is going to be, I'm expecting it now to be pretty much one-way traffic, because Liverpool are going to go all out to get back in this game. But we know that Sheffield United, the manager will be absolutely superb with this start. OK, it was a touch fortunate maybe that they get the penalty, it was right on the edge of the box, but he's now thinking, right, OK, we've got a lead. We know we can hold on to this and we can play on the counter-attack.
And here's Berge on the edge of the area, having been set up by Ryan Brewster, looks square for Baldock. Baldock gets there in front of Sadio Mane. Can he tease out across from the right? Cross is half blocked, and then it's nudged upfield by Wijnaldum for Liverpool over the halfway line. Egan, though under no pressure, will retrieve and he'll roll it back to his goalkeeper. Quarter of an hour gone, Liverpool 0, Sheffield United 1, as a firework I think goes off in
a bit late, isn't it?
City Centre.
It's a bit delayed.
It was, yeah.
That was a social distance firework, that one.
You can see the lights of the city in the distance. Here is Salah trying to get on the end of a pass from Jota, who was tripped as he played the ball, and a free kick to Liverpool midway inside the Sheffield United half. You're listening to Liverpool against Sheffield United on TalkSport with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Get a quote in 60 seconds at WeBuyAnyCar.com. The 5th of 5 live and exclusive commentaries across the Premier League and the EFL on game day. Tomorrow, the Sunday session with Sam Matterface and Darren Bent's Boot Room will take you through all of the action. And then from 9:30, episode 5 of Coming In From the Cold, this fascinating documentary on the history of black footballers in the English football, exclusively to TalkSport.
Just No, I thought he was going to shoot to start with.
Whipped in by Alexander-Arnold, cleared up into the air by Basham. The ball's still in the Sheffield United penalty area, could drop for Mane. Mane trying to spin and turn, lays it back for Wijnaldum, who went to place it, but knocks it over the top, and it's a goal kick.
It was stuck under his feet. The touch just got, and he had to try and dig it out. So by trying to get some sort of power, he has to lean back, and it's more of a scoop. Had it been half a yard further forward, he could have driven right through the ball. But just before that, the free kick was 30 yards out maybe. Trent Alexander-Arnold was just having a little look out the corner of his eye, just see the goalkeeper's position. I mean, he's already tried it from the halfway line and nearly come off, so that was halfway's no distance for him, is it?
And for a right back, and he's much more than a right back.
He's not a right back. He's a right. He's never been back in his life.
Extraordinary vision, Dan.
Oh, it's superb. And we know that, didn't we? We saw that against Barcelona. That quick thinking from the corner.
Yeah. Ever since he broke into the side, it doesn't do him justice to call him a defender, really.
Well, that's his, bizarrely, if he has one weakness.
Is that his Achilles heel?
It's sometimes he gets caught out of position from time to time, a little bit too high up the pitch. And we've seen it before, that people can run in behind into that space. Saw at the start of the season, Leeds did it, where Jack Harrison got into that sort of area. We've seen it, Barcelona did it here, in the Champions League. You can exploit that space because he's so good going forward. You want to use him going forward more so than defensively.
Well, they'll come forward here to take a throw midway inside the Sheffield United half at the base of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand, which is now dwarfed by this main stand opposite. Liverpool 0, Sheffield United 1. Live only on Talk Sport. We've had 18 and a half minutes, and here's Gomez in the centre circle. Wide to Robertson with the white boots, near side of the field. Chris Wilder gesticulating, the Sheffield United manager, from the near side touchline. Gomez angles the pass diagonally to Alexander-Arnold again. Back to Jordan Henderson. All very congested in front of Liverpool. What have the champions got in terms of creativity and ingenuity here? As Alexander-Arnold whips it cross-field, left-footed, drops on the boot of Robertson perfectly, just caresses it out of the air, infield towards Salah, well intercepted in the middle of midfield by Ampadu for Sheffield United, and he'll drift out towards the left, and he'll find Ben Osborne, and Sheffield United, after a difficult opening few minutes, suddenly look very steady and very composed, Danny Mills.
Well, that goal's given them a huge amount of confidence. Now they don't have to chase the game, they don't have to go looking for a goal, they can just ease themselves into it.
As Baldock tries to cross, did that come off the arm of Andy Robertson? Mike Dean says no. Sheffield United will appeal. VAR, I'm sure, will check that.
They have to look at that. It's above. Is it outstretched from his body? But it's high. It's sort of like shoulder height at least, isn't it, with his hand? VAR have to be checking that, surely.
Baldock with the first time cross. Robertson came across to block him off inside the 18-yard box, and the ball looked to hit the arm of Andy Robertson. It doesn't appear at the moment as though a VAR check is taking place. Here is Baldock for Sheffield United. Meanwhile, on the near side, the right, we've got monitors in our commentary positions, so we'll be alerted to the fact as soon as it happens, if it does happen. Now Ampadu for Sheffield United, lofting it high, up towards McBurney, who's kept himself onside, and he's in on goal, McBurney! Oh, and he's missed from a tight angle, right across the face of goal, should have scored, it's behind for a goal kick, and it's still only 1-0 to Sheffield United.
He has to hit the target. That is absolutely unbelievable. But there we see again, look at the position of Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's about 3 yards forward of his centre half, and that allows that space for McBurney just to pull off Fabinho, get into that area. He's on his left foot. He's got to hit the target. That could have easily been 2-0 up to Sheffield United, but I don't think there was a VAR check. I mean, start of the season, that would have been handball, without a shadow of a doubt. OK, the law's been adapted, thank goodness. But I'm surprised they didn't look at it, because it definitely did hit his hand, and his hand was quite high.
And now here's Birch on the edge of the area with a snapshot. It's well blocked by Robertson. Allison can't prevent the corner, and Sheffield United look the more likely to get a second goal here, leading as they do by a goal to nil at Anfield. It's Liverpool 0, Sheffield United 1. For the latest odds, head to Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Liverpool 1.6, Sheffield United at 6, the draw at 4.5. That's all thanks to Betfair. More ways to bet, more ways to win. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
I've just seen it again on the replay.
Yep.
Definitely hits his hand, but I would say his hand's in a natural position. There's nowhere else. His hand, it's not as high as I thought it was initially. it's sort of just above the waist, but that's where you'd expect it to be. And to be fair, he was only maybe 2-3 yards away from the ball that was hit at him, so not a lot he could do about that.
As Osborne whips in the corner, punched away by Alisson, who was fouled, and Liverpool get themselves a free kick. Midway through the first half, live on Talk Sport, and Sheffield United, who haven't won here in 26 years in the Premier League, lead by a goal to nil. They haven't beaten Liverpool home or away in the Premier League in 26 years.
Well, since the penalty, Liverpool look a little bit shell-shocked, don't they?
They do.
They haven't really come out. They haven't really created any chances since then of note. Sheffield United have certainly grown in confidence because of that goal. You know, they're settling down. They're starting to pass the ball around. They look a little bit more organised. And they're thinking, well, we know we can defend. If we can now work hard and defend properly, make it difficult for Liverpool, there's every chance we can get something from this game.
What a day of action it's been so far in the Premier League, and perhaps we've saved the most fascinating encounter of all to last. West Ham 1, Manchester City 1 in the lunchtime kick-off live on Game Day. Fulham beaten at home by Crystal Palace. Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0 at Old Trafford in the EFL. TalkSport 2 brought you Watford 1, Bournemouth 1 in the early kick-off, and Bristol City 1, Swansea 1 at 3 o'clock. Elsewhere, wins for Blackburn, Preston, Norwich, Reading, who stayed top. Luton at Sheffield Wednesday, and Stoke beat Brentford by 3 goals to 2. And Exeter beat Wasps in the Gallagher Premiership final, live on TalkSport 2. Here is Baldock for Sheffield United, whips in a high cross. Osborne on the volley, good save by Alisson. Osborne coming in at the far post, and the effort a little close to the goalkeeper, but he had to make the save. Now Brewster for Sheffield United, dispossessed on the edge of the 18-yard box, and Liverpool a little all at sea defensively throughout the first 24 minutes so far. They trail by a goal to nil, but they could easily be 2 or 3 down.
Baldock gets down the right-hand side. There's absolutely fantastic. Sorry, Ben Osborne gets down and whips a ball to the far post of Osborne, doesn't he? And sometimes, when you can catch it too well, he caught it too sweet and it went straight at the goalkeeper. He needed to come off his heel or just miss-kick it slightly, and it ends up in the corner. Sometimes when you catch it perfectly, straight in the middle of the goalkeeper's chest. But you see again, that's Alexander Arnold's position at the far post.
Yeah.
He's caught a little bit square. He's not got his body open. He can't see what's coming over his shoulder. He's not really at fault for that, but he has to be more aware of people coming in behind him. But it was a great cross.
Do you send any volleys screaming into the top corner in your career at any point?
Top corner of the stand. Literally top corner of the Anfield Road end, perhaps, but literally the road. I could even clear this big stand, don't worry. They never built a stand big enough that I couldn't clear.
There's 20,000 seats here.
Oh, don't worry, I could still get it over there.
Sheffield United free kick, playing towards the Kop end in the first half, leading 1-0. In by Lundstrom, out comes Alisson, punches again, two-handed, drops for Ampadu, middle of the Liverpool half, nods it wide to the far side the left. Osborne in field, square ball to Lundstrom, his green shirt hanging untucked on this expansive Anfield surface. Poor ball diagonally by Brewster, straight to Henderson. The Liverpool captain strides forward with authority, but then gives it away. Liverpool careless again, trailing by a goal to nil. The champions, who haven't been beaten at home in the Premier League since Crystal Palace came here and won way back in April of 2017.
Brewster's not quite settled into the game yet, has he?
Nope.
Whether he's a little bit nervous coming back to this club, trying a little bit too hard. He just needs to get a few simple passes in just to let his confidence grow.
Fouled by Henderson, balloons it downfield, too long for both Mane and Jota.
Liverpool a little bit, sorry Joe, Liverpool are a little bit out of sorts, aren't they?
Very out of sorts.
Since the goal's gone in, since that penalty, they started to hit 1 or 2 long balls. They've given the ball unnecessarily at times.
Well, how has the inclusion of Jota affected them? Because they are set up slightly differently tonight, aren't they?
It's almost a 4-4-2, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You've got Firmino and Salah as the front two, and they're not a traditional centre-forward pairing, but that's what they are. You've got Mane on the left-hand side, you've got Jota on the right-hand side. Mane and Jota both come narrow. It's not hugely different to how it's been previously, but they've just lost their way a little bit. All credit to Sheffield United.
Have been imperious so far, save for the opening 5 minutes where they survived a couple of scares, and they do lead by a goal to nil. They haven't won an away game in the Premier League since February the 1st. at Crystal Palace. Their form really slumped during the lockdown period. But what a way to kickstart their season it will be. A long way still to go. We haven't yet had half an hour. Mane for Liverpool, always sprightly and fleet-footed. Even his touch, though, there was strangely leaden, and Baldock got a foot in for Sheffield United at the expense of a Liverpool throw. Near side of the field, a long way down from below. Robertson has got a television camera just behind him. Liverpool all in red, of course, here at Anfield, where the floodlights are on. 4,000 empty red seats. Thrown field by Robertson. How they could do with a crowd here tonight, Liverpool, in these circumstances, as Lundstrom hoists the ball away for Sheffield United, and the shaven-headed Fabinho is there to pick it up midway inside his own half, wearing number 3. Now Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool 0, Sheffield United 1, exclusively live on Talk Sports Game Day. And Fabinho once more.
Just imagine they lose this game.
Well, it's unthinkable, isn't it? Liverpool losing a Premier League game at home.
I mean, Man City currently sit 12th in the table, having lost 2 games already. Liverpool, as it stands at the moment, have lost one and losing another one. That could turn into 2. You can only really afford to lose 4 games in a season if you're going to win the league. Someone's going to have to put some run on.
This is like no other season, though, isn't it, Danny? What with the kind of slightly truncated, congested nature of the fixtures, the lack of spectators.
It is, but I don't know, but remind me, I bet Leicester didn't lose more than 4 games when they won the league. It very rarely happens. I think it's happened on a few occasions back in the day when there was more teams in the league.
Yep.
And I think there's a few times where Manchester United won the league losing 5 or 6 games. But a lot of those were towards the end of the season when they'd already won the league. I remember when Jaap Stam was at Manchester United, and of course they won it 3 times in a row. I think they lost 3 games out of the last 6 or something silly like that. Jaap Stam didn't play in any of them. Because they rested players and they left players out. But normally, 5 games and you're out of the title race. So you can, City, Liverpool, who we expected to be like 1 and 2, can only afford to lose 3 more. I know Liverpool for the last 2 seasons have only lost it. Well, let's say it's 1 really, because after lockdown, after they won the league, doesn't really count in my opinion. But they're going to have to go on some run now to the end of the season, and teams I would say are better this season, better equipped.
You're absolutely right about Leicester. They only lost 3 in that title-winning season.
It's incredible, isn't it? To think, that's all you can lose to win a title.
The draws were very important to them. Liverpool don't really know anything but winning games across the last 2-3 seasons under Jurgen Klopp. They trail at home to Sheffield United here at Anfield by a 1-0. And you're listening to Game Day on Talk Sport. Talk Sport 2 will bring you live commentary of Brighton against West Bromwich Albion in the Premier League on Monday night. Then we're into the Champions League again. A host of live matches with us across the network across the week, including Manchester City's trip to Marseille on Talk Sport on Tuesday night, and Chelsea in Krasnodar in the Champions League on Wednesday night. That one's on Talk Sport 2. Here is Wijnaldum for Liverpool. Long sleeve shirt, keeps the ball away, straight to Baldock. And Sheffield United, when they don't have the ball, it's effectively a back 5 at times. Baldock and Osborne, the 2 wing-backs, will tuck out wide. And here's Brewster looking to reach a high ball downfield. Slightly misjudged header by Robertson. Liverpool are full of errors in this first half.
Uncharacteristically as well. Up until the goal, it was hardly an error for Liverpool. They were superb. They were fast, they were sharp, they were getting forward, creating things. And then after 13 minutes the penalty well, and then sort of from 15 minutes onwards, they've been giving the ball away. Very, very unlike them.
Cheaply, and all across the pitch as well. Errors are contagious, it feels like, as Fabinho shepherds the ball back to Alisson, all in black. His return to the side tonight, the Liverpool goalkeeper, after that shoulder/collarbone injury that has kept him out, or had kept him out since the start of October. But it doesn't seem to have steadied that Liverpool defence, a defence that was relatively impressive against Ajax in the Champions League in the week, albeit Ajax did have chances.
And we talked about this beforehand, didn't we? Sometimes you can get away with it for the odd game, but to do it long term, time and time again, you need square pegs in square holes.
Crossfield Gomez to Salah into the penalty area, angle against him on his left foot. Salah lays it back to Henderson. First time effort blocked by Stevens, and the ball spirals out of play for a Liverpool throw on their right, the far side of the field. 1-0 they trail. Henderson trying to inject some pace into this Liverpool side. Salah with his back to goal, trying to spin and turn away from Stevens. Cleared away by Osborne. Kept in play. No, Alexander-Arnold lets it go out for a throw, which he takes quickly. Gets it back from Henderson. Rolls the ball back towards the halfway line. And McBurney almost intercepts in front of Fabinho, who had to stretch one of his long, skinny legs to keep Liverpool in possession. But once more, they're forced to go back to the halfway line. And since that early flurry of attacks, Ramsdale, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, has not had a save to make.
But even then, when the ball was rolled into Mo Salah, it just slipped under his foot.
And here he is again, Salah, right wing position, trying to thread it through the legs of Osborne.
He's hurt as
Goes
well.
right into him, and he's come off worse in that challenge, Salah. It looked fairly innocuous initially. He hobbles to his feet and tries to trudge away, and I think he'll run this off, Salah, but we'll certainly keep an eye on him. And by the way, Danny Mills, you're absolutely right about that Andy Robertson VAR. Well, there was no penalty check as such. There was no penalty, second penalty for Sheffield United, because the Premier League had confirmed that his hand was in a natural position as Baldock played the ball in from the right.
But when I first saw it, and you see it very, very quickly, and we are a good 100 yards away, aren't we? And 100 yards up in the air. It's like we're in a hot air balloon where we are at the moment. I thought his hand was maybe a little bit higher, and that's why I thought they would look at it. But actually, when you see it, it's down sort of waist sort of high. It's where you'd expect his hand to be.
Forward by Alexander-Arnold. The pass takes a deflection. Cut out by Egan at the heart of the Sheffield United defence. Wijnaldum takes over for Liverpool. Back to the halfway line, and Gomez, long sleeved, all in red. 33 minutes on the clock. Liverpool 0, Sheffield United 1. And given away this time by Jota, sloppily, straight to the feet of Basham, who's been such a stalwart for Sheffield United down the years, particularly under Chris Wilder, who, by the way, if Sheffield United do win tonight, Chris Wilder would pick up his 100th win in charge of Sheffield United across all competitions, and what a win it would be. You can't imagine, though, Liverpool will play a more disjointed 33 minutes of football at any point in the Premier League this season.
Well, but then, look what Leeds did to them, early on as well, and for opening game of the season. They've had one or two issues. They haven't quite got going yet this season, Liverpool. I think McBurney's doing a really good job up front at the moment. He's given Fabinho and Gomez a rough time. He's a strong, big lad, and he's being very, very physical with him, and they don't seem to like that.
Liverpool having to be patient in the final third. Alexander-Arnold, middle of the Sheffield United half, flicks it through beautifully for Mo Salah, who's onside. That's a great tackle at the last from Egan to knock it over the top and into the Anfield Road end. Gets a pat on the back from Baldock, his teammate as well. It's a Liverpool corner, but Alexander-Arnold very nearly with a stunning slide ball pass for Mo Salah.
Just wouldn't drop for him. It was a little scoop over the top. Mo Salah's waiting for it to drop down. It just hangs in the air for an absolute age, and Egan's able to get the clearance in.
Corner to Liverpool on the far side. Alexander-Arnold will take it, right-footed, out-swinging, looping high, headed away by Basham, and then Fabinho lashes it over the top on the volley, and it's a goal kick. And Sheffield United lead by a 0-0, and we've had 35 minutes of the opening half.
And since the goal's gone in, as you just said, there's not been a save. We're just getting a sort of a virtual
reality rerun of the penalty decision.
I mean, my only question is how did it take so long for VAR to decide it was on the line? Because it was very, very clear, and we've got a 4-inch monitor to look at. We basically look at an iPhone, and we could see it.
In Stockley Park, they've got many giant screens to look at.
Well, but I think, we've said all along, haven't we? Technology's not the issue, it's the operators.
Well, here's Burge with his back to goal, the Sheffield United goal scorer, edge of the D, twisting, turning onto his right foot, sets up Baldock with a looping cross. McBurney underneath it, goes down, his arms flailing, referee not remotely interested. McBurney has ended up sitting on the turf inside the 18-yard area. Liverpool have only got it half clear. Burge steers it wide for Baldock again. Baldock looks up, high ball to the far post, scoops up into that dark night sky, brought down by Diogo Jota for Liverpool, and Jota will knock it into the left back position, and Robertson, who can drive in field as Liverpool look to counter-attack. Robertson surged up to the halfway line. plays it wide to that far side of the field, and Henderson back to Robertson, corner of the penalty area. Can he inspire Liverpool to an equaliser? Stevens gets a foot in. That was a very well-timed tackle because it came off Robertson last, and Sheffield United have a throw in the left-back spot. You are listening to Liverpool against Sheffield United on Talk Sport with Now TV. Don't forget you can watch Southampton against Everton or Wolves against Newcastle live tomorrow with a Now TV Sky Sports Pass for just $9.99. Search Now TV.
I just wonder if Jurgen Klopp's thinking about making a change at half-time. You know, the subs aren't particularly active at the moment, but I'd be looking to the bench. I'd be looking up Milner. Get in that midfield and get a grip of the game, because at the moment it's just starting to go away from Liverpool.
Who would you take off?
I'd take off Jota, in honesty. You know, and I'd go back to what they know and what they're good at. Put Mo Salah out on that right-hand side, Mane on the left, Firmino through the middle, and then I'd pack that midfield with Milner, Henderson and Wijnaldum.
Oh, here's Baldock into the penalty area, lays it back to Burge on the edge of the box. Oh, he's gone down. Sheffield United appeal for a penalty again. Nothing doing, says Mike Dean. VAR will have a look at it. Here come Liverpool on the counter-attack. 3 against 3. Mane wide to Firmino. Salah waiting in the middle. Henderson making a late run too. Firmino plays it across, cut out at the near post by a stretching Basham, and Firmino will keep it in 5 yards from the corner flag. Liverpool still trailed by a goal to nil. Back it goes to Wijnaldum.
So there's no penalty there. Sander Berge went down like a fallen tree.
Robertson looks up, crosses, and he's going to chip that onto the roof of the net and behind for a goal kick.
It was one of those, wasn't it? It was like, oh, a whack, timber, and he slowly went down.
Yeah, there's not enough wind blowing around Anfield to knock anybody over. It's quite chilly, but it is late October. Of course, the lights of Liverpool city centre, bright yellow in the distance. And here at Anfield, a struggle for the champions. Still trailing by that single goal to nil. In the Premier League earlier this afternoon, Crystal Palace the sole victors, 2-1 at Fulham. West Ham and Manchester City drew 1 apiece. Manchester United against Chelsea was 0-0, both live and exclusive on Talk Sport. Tomorrow we'll keep you up to date with all the Premier League action in the Sunday session with Sam Matterface and Darren Bent's Boot Room following that. Tonight you can have your say on Talk Sport 2 via the Sports Bar Weekender with Will Gavin and Gabby Agbonlahor.
Is that Gabby the myth?
Are you talking about Leeds United here? Here is Sheffield United in the penalty area. Brewster's been dispossessed though, and now Liverpool can counter-attack. It's Jota streaking forward at pace, goes wide towards Salah. The pass was under hit, intercepted by Stevens, and now Alexander-Arnold takes over for Liverpool, albeit 10 yards into opposition territory. Flights a high ball forward, headed away by the towering Basham, and then sliding in Baldock. Intelligent tackle to win a throw off Andy Robertson.
Yeah, just over 5 minutes to go. Chris Wilder will be absolutely delighted with his team. A really tough start to the game. First 10 minutes they were all over the shop. It was like they had no idea how to defend. Liverpool came out of the traps very, very quickly. It was 6s and 7s in that defence, and then they went at the other end. They got the penalty. The initial clearance from Fabinho was really poor, and it ricocheted back to McBurney, and then he dives in, gives a foul away right on the edge of the box, on the line. It's a penalty, and since that moment it's really shaken Liverpool.
They've been made to work very hard. Here is Firmino, midway inside the Sheffield United half the field, wide to Alexander-Arnold, wearing that number 66 on the back of his all-red shirt. Little touch from Jota, back from Firmino, 5 yards from the edge of the penalty area. Further wide is Salah, Mane and Firmino in the middle. Salah back to Henderson, Alexander-Arnold on the overlap, but Liverpool at walking pace here. Alexander-Arnold in a crossing position, Sheffield United very deep, in by Henderson, right-footed, Mane's header, great save, Firmino taps in the rebound, and Liverpool are level. And finally Roberto Firmino is on the score sheet. His first goal of the season, his first goal since July the 22nd, and relief palpable all around Anfield. It's Liverpool 1, Sheffield United 1.
I'm just trying to work out how Firmino is so in the clear. The cross comes in, nobody's picking up Mane at the far post.
Was he onside, Mane?
Yes, he was. Without a shadow of a doubt. He's a good yard onside. There's no issue with that whatsoever. And Firmino's behind him when the ball is played in. But the Sheffield United defence are like mannequins. The first ball comes in, nobody reacts to the first one, Mane. And when it comes back off Ramsdale, who makes a good save from Mane's header, There's 2 Liverpool players there, and Firmino has a simple tap-in.
And here's Salah clear on goal straight away. Mo Salah for Liverpool. Good save by Ramsdale. Salah looked miles offside, and as is the case now with the assistant referees, the flag belatedly does go up once the passage of play has taken place. Danny Mills.
I can't stand that. You know, it's clearly offside. Just put your flag up. I mean, look, he's 5 yards offside.
Yeah, I don't get it.
What's going to happen is, you know, someone's going to make a challenge. Someone could have easily been sprinting back and have made a last-ditch challenge, and Mo Salah gets hurt because they've not put the flag up.
And when the offside is that clear,
it was 5 yards.
No purpose, does it, whatsoever?
Because you've got the goalkeeper could come running out. We've seen what's happened recently with Liverpool, with goalkeepers coming out and making challenges. Sometimes you've got to just give that to the welfare of the players has to come first, and by allowing that situation to run on unnecessarily, Sheffield United think it's offside, but they're chasing back. They make desperate tackles, and that's the point where it can get dangerous.
Liverpool 1, Sheffield United 1, live on TalkSport. We've got 2.5 minutes of normal time remaining at the end of the first half. A strange first half in so many ways. The celebrations, by the way, for the Firmino equaliser were so muted.
Well, I think everyone was looking for offside because Ramsdale sort of would not give the ball back, and he was sort of waving towards the towards the assistant referee and the linesman, saying, "Well, what's going on? It's offside." But it was clearly onside. None of his defenders reacted.
And that's one of those little arguments, kind of side arguments against VAR, isn't it? That it takes the passion out of goal celebrations because players instantly, even if they've scored, are worried about the goal being ruled out. It's an imperfect system in an imperfect world, of course.
Yeah, but it was brought in to make it better, but it's made it worse. That's the issue that I think that most people have.
Yeah.
And also, you talk about with the penalty, the time factor sometimes. You know, you're having to wait when that was clearly an offside decision.
Sure.
You know, make that decision. You know, it's not. I know that's their remit. That's what they've been told to do. But that's your job to make that. When it's 5 yards offside, if you don't know that that's offside, you don't trust yourself to put your flag up, you shouldn't be doing that job.
Pitch black skies above Anfield. Forward by Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool 1, Sheffield United 1. Header away by Stevens in the left-back position for Sheffield United. It's knocked downfield to McBurney. McBurney had Lundstrom making an intelligent run just ahead of him, but McBurney was a little slow. McBurney has long, gangly legs and orange boots, and his socks a la Jack Grealish rolled halfway down his shins. He sometimes does flatter to deceive, I think, as a player, McBurney. Into the final minute of normal time at the end of the first period. Remember, UFC 254 live at the moment on TalkSport 2. Once we're done here at Anfield, coverage will move over here to TalkSport. We'll bring you the fight live here, exclusive to national radio. Little touch by Baldock up towards halfway for Sheffield United. Good interception by Naldum, and then Baldock flicks it out to play. I wonder what Jurgen Klopp is thinking. A long way down below us.
Well, at the moment he's thinking we're getting away with it.
He must be.
You know, he wasn't happy with the penalty decision, but I think when he sees it back, he will understand that clearly it was a penalty. You know, it was a poor decision for Fabinho to dive in, you know, on the edge of the area after a poor clearance. And then his team haven't played well in the slightest, and they've got back into it. So I think he will be relieved that they go in at one each.
Jota for Liverpool, midway inside the Sheffield United half. Wide to Robertson on the near side. Can the champions edge themselves in front just before the break? It's floated wide by Naldum into the feet of Salah. Salah with his back to goal as the electronic board goes up on the near side touchline. 3 added minutes live on TalkSport. And now Fabinho, tall and slender. Henderson chest puffed out, finds Salah. That was a loose pass nearly that Brewster was trying to intercept. First Premier League start, been very quiet, Ryan Brewster so far against his former side. Here's Mane for Liverpool, steers it wide for Jota. Jota for Robertson into the penalty area, took it in his stride, looks for Salah. Cut out at the near post well by Baldock, who was stretching. And now Burge will clear for Sheffield United. Straight though to Henderson. Henderson from 25 yards. Wide to Alexander-Arnold. The ball bouncing off his shins. Comes back to Henderson via a half tackle from Osborne. Osborne retreats to keep the ball though for Sheffield United. Now Lundstrom can charge forward in that green shirt and light gold shorts and socks. He finds McBurney, and Sheffield United slow the game down on the halfway line. They've been very impressive so far, Sheffield United. A point would take them out of the drop zone tonight, actually.
Yeah, after the first 10 minutes, they've been very, very good, very, very assured. Just that one lapse in concentration for the Liverpool goal that's cost them.
Basham, wide to Baldock near side, crosses right-footed, Lundstrom was making the run, headed away by Fabinho, comes up towards Basham, who gets it back from McBurney and shoots. It's blocked by Gomez, McBurney dropping the ball up on the edge of the penalty area, it spurts high up into the air, cleared away by Gomez, and Liverpool not convincing defensively again.
There's a lack of authority, isn't there? You can tell, with Virgil van Dijk missing, there's that calmness, that assurance that is missing.
And we've seen it throughout the season so far for Liverpool, and as Danny alluded to earlier on, even with Van Dijk in the team, the 3 they conceded here against Leeds and the 7 at Aston Villa.
Yeah, when Van Dijk tried to, when Bamford was chasing him down, and he's tried a audacious back heel, to get something on it, a back heel over top of Bamford, and it just didn't work. You can't be doing that as a centre half.
Tell you what, great win for your old club last night, by the way.
Oh, marvellous. Can't wait for Gabby Agbonlahor later on the Sports Bar Weekender. I'll leave him alone now. I gave him plenty on Instagram last night. Bless him.
08717 22 33 44.
We've all done it, haven't it? We've all said things. And then a week later, it's like, oh, curse of the commentator. Wish I hadn't have said that.
Absolutely. Here is McBurney for Sheffield United, midway inside the Liverpool half. We've got 30 seconds of stoppage time remaining at the end of the first period. It's 1-1 at Anfield. Here is Baldock for Sheffield United. Back to Ampadu, middle of the Liverpool half. On to Basham. Basham caught in the penalty area. Baldock on the overlap. Chips it in high, up to the far post. Over McBurney, over Osborne. Jota will get to the loose ball. Jota will try to thump it downfield. Salah goes up with Stevens, the Irishman, gets the better of him, and the half-time whistle goes. Well, what a fascinating and unexpected first 45 at Anfield, live on Talk Sport. Liverpool very much out of sorts for most of that opening period, and Sheffield United took the lead through Sander Berge's penalty kick after a foul by Fabinho, stepping in for Virgil van Dijk, and this time not quite as convincing in the absence of Liverpool's inspirational central defender, but they did get the equaliser before half-time, the champions. Firmino tapping in his first goal since July the 22nd after Mane's header was saved, and at the break it's Liverpool 1, Sheffield United 1. Yes, and the biggest story may yet still be to come, with, as you say, the score's still finely poised at 1 apiece ahead of the second half as we look down from our lofty perch in the main stand. Liverpool are out and ready to go, all in red, and they'll play from left to right in this second half towards the Kop end, which is empty save for the myriad of banners behind the goal. Sheffield United from right to left in their green and gold. I'll give you the two sides in full again in just a moment, but there hasn't been a half-time change for either of the two teams. Liverpool with the returning Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Gomez and Robertson at the back, Henderson and Wijnaldum, Jota, Firmino, Mane behind Salah. Here's Alexander-Arnold straight away right at the start of the second half. Salah shrugged aside and Sheffield United clear up to the halfway line. Wijnaldum gets in front of McBurney and Liverpool have it back. Sheffield United with Ramsdale in goal, Basham, Egan and Ampadu the back three, Baldock, Burge, Osborne, Lundstrom and Stevens across the middle, Brewster and McBurney the two up front for Sheffield United. 1-1 live on Talk Sports, the third live and exclusive Premier League commentary of the day so far. Remember, Brighton against West Bromwich Albion live on Monday night on Talk Sport 2 to complete what no doubt after tomorrow's fixtures would have been another fascinating Premier League weekend. Already plenty of storylines to get our teeth into, and as Faye was mentioning, the Sports Bar Weekender on Talk Sport 2 from 10, the best place to begin doing that. Forward by Alexander-Arnold, down the right, the near side of the field for Liverpool, cut out by Stevens, but it's come back to Jota. Jota finds Henderson square, infield to Firmino on the edge of the D, Jota takes it off his toes, Jota scampers forward, good interception by Basham for Sheffield United, who is then tripped by Mane, goes down and wins a free kick. A minute and 30 seconds into the second half, Danny Mills expecting much more from Liverpool in the second period.
Definitely. I do feel if Liverpool get the next goal, they will go on and win the game comfortably, because Sheffield United, a couple of crosses coming down the right hand side, mainly George Baldock getting down there and putting balls into the box, and great delivery, but apart from that they're not offering too much going forward in terms of creativity. I just feel if Liverpool get the next goal, that will settle them down, but if Sheffield United get it, well then big problems for Liverpool.
A win would take Liverpool joint top, level on points with Everton, albeit their Merseyside neighbours have a far better goal difference at this stage, even at this early stage in the season. Here's Lundstrom for Sheffield United, crossing high from the left. It loops towards the far post, headed back by Burge, out to the edge of the penalty area, and it's driven wide by Baldock on the angle. Via deflection, it's out of play for a corner to Sheffield United at the Anfield Road end.
His eyes lit up. The fullback saw glory, didn't he? And he just snatched it. I think it was Wijnaldum was coming out. He just needs to catch that with a little bit of the outside of the foot, just to get a little bit of bend, cut across it slightly. He doesn't, he drags it the other way, and the deflection takes it out for a corner.
Lundstrom's delivery on the near side, the right, high towards Egan at the far post. He climbs, headed away by Firmino for Liverpool. Not out of danger just yet though. Gomez gets a touch on it, up to the edge of the 18-yard box, flicked away by Wijnaldum, up into that dark night sky. Liverpool try to counter, they can't do so yet. Sheffield United have the ball back. The score is 1-1, very early stages of the second half, as Alisson has to clear long, slices it up into the air. The ball illuminated by the bright floodlights overhead, and Firmino takes possession for Liverpool and knocks it wide to the far side, and Robertson immediately on to Mane. There's a bit more energy about Liverpool in this second half as Mane surges forward, he pulls it back, Jota in the middle, good interception by Egan on the slide, and Sheffield United will clear through Baldock.
Brilliant from Mane. Sometimes you don't need a trick, you don't need a skill. If you've got pace to burn and so much more than your defender, Mane just knocked the ball past him and ran into the open space. Brilliant play. Keep it simple.
And Liverpool still have it with Wijnaldum, long sleeve shirt, back to the halfway line, and Gomez. Liverpool without Virgil van Dijk for the foreseeable future, and they haven't looked convincing tonight. Here's Alexander-Arnold, almost on the left wing position, drills it in low to Firmino, bright orange boots with his back to goal, finds Henderson on the edge of the D. Henderson knocks it wide. Robertson will hair across to keep it in play diligently. The man is making a century of Premier League appearances for Liverpool tonight. In by Henderson, Mane far post, he couldn't control. Mane will watch the ball drop towards the corner flag. Oh, what a back heel by Alexander-Arnold to keep it in. And Mane's got possession inside the 18-yard area. The angle very tight. Plays it across to Robertson. Robertson onto his right foot. Can't find a teammate inside a very crowded penalty area. And Lundstrom hacks it clear, high and over the halfway line. It's still 1-1. 5 minutes into the second half, live and exclusive on Talk Sports.
Brilliant first touch. Absolutely superb from Andy Robertson. Took it down the outside, and then it was on his swinger, wasn't it? It was that right foot. It was a bit of a... didn't really connect with it in any way, shape or form. Just remember, Robertson stayed on this right-hand side for quite a bit. I'm not sure if it's a permanent change to try and disrupt Sheffield United.
Well, I was just going to ask you about that. They have switched sides, haven't they, as Jota goes down inside the 18-yard box, the ball behind for a goal kick to Sheffield United, and now it looks as though Alexander-Arnold and Robertson are switching back again.
It's one of those that they're quite comfortable to do that for might be 5 minutes or so. There's no panic to get back into their natural positions.
So 1-1. Busy game day across the network. The only place to hear all the action is with us on Talk Sport and Talk Sport 2. Earlier in the Premier League, West Ham against Manchester City finished 1 apiece. That was live on Talk Sport. Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 2. Manchester United and Chelsea was goalless at Old Trafford. In the EFL, wins for Blackburn, Preston, Norwich, Reading, Luton and Stoke City. And in the Gallagher Premiership Rugby Union final, Exeter beat Wasps 19-13 to secure an historic double. That was on Talk Sport 2. Gomez clears for Liverpool from inside his own penalty area, upfield. Salah, who swapped a long sleeve shirt for a short sleeve one in the second period, takes over, immediately glides forward at great pace. Salah, the ball just sticks to his feet like glue whenever he's in possession, like a master puppeteer. Now Henderson, the metronome for Liverpool, elbows jutting out, he finds Mane, clicks it through the middle towards Firmino, again very crowded. Sheffield United clear. Alexander-Arnold though crosses, diving header behind by a stretching Stevens, and it's a Liverpool corner at the Kop end. Taken quickly by Alexander-Arnold to Salah. Salah gets the ball into his left foot, plays it square, gets it back from Henderson. In the 6-yard box here, Salah might find Alexander-Arnold. He's crowded out there, Salah. McBurney gets a touch, and it's a second Liverpool corner in very quick succession. 1-1.
Send him on his right foot. You know Mo Salah wants to come inside on his left foot. Why do teams allow that to happen? It's like they show him inside onto his stronger foot. Send him down the line. Worst thing he's going to do is then cross it.
It's bizarre, wasn't it? Alexander-Arnold again over the ball, wearing number 66. Sheffield United in their green shirts have everyone back in by Alexander-Arnold, floated high, nodded away by McBurney, comes down to Salah, who curls one from the edge of the D, and it's into about row 10 of the Kop.
It's amazing, really. You take one player out of Liverpool's side, Virgil van Dijk, we know how important he is, but suddenly they go from sort of like what seems like a big team, so suddenly now they're a small team. Just both. Do you know what I mean? You know, even defending set pieces. You look around and you go, actually, they're a small team.
And is that a sign of the strength of his psychological impact and the way that he comes out on the field of play and he imposes himself on the game and maybe on his teammates as well, and therefore they carry themselves with that kind of confidence?
Well, he's very, very tall, isn't he? We know that. But he has not just that. He has a presence. He has an aura. It's like, you know, anything in the middle of the goal. It's mine, I'm going to head it, I'm in charge, no one's going to get anywhere near it, and it gives everybody else that little bit of confidence that they think, okay, that's his area. Suddenly now he's missing and someone else has to sort of drop into that.
There's an extra gravitas about Liverpool whenever Van Dijk's in the side, and they're going to have to do without him for a while. And Liverpool, who are unbeaten in 61 home league matches at Anfield, but could go 3 consecutive Premier League games without a win for the first time since May 2018, if the score stays as it is. 8 minutes into the second half, 1-1, and the evening is over for one former Liverpool player, Ryan Brewster, Sheffield United's club record signing, his first Premier League start. If I'm being honest, Danny, he's hardly had a kick, and he's coming off, and Oliver Burke will replace him.
No, it's one that he'll want to forget, and it's not been a good night for him. Whether he was a little bit nervous, shouldn't really be intimidated. You know, he knows these players. He's been around it before. He's been at this stadium so many times. He's played here. It's not a problem. It shouldn't really be a problem for him. But tonight just hasn't happened for him.
Brewster trudges into the main stand seats a long way down below. There's a chill in the air at Anfield. Sheffield United, who have frustrated the champions so far. 1-1 the score. Jurgen Klopp standing in his technical area, hands behind his back in his club tracksuit. And Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper, all black kit, bushy beard, has the ball, and now Robertson in the left-back position.
It's a fabulous night for football, isn't it, Joe? I mean, when I was driving over the M62 earlier, it was biblical. You know, it was down to like 40 miles an hour on the motorway. You couldn't see a thing. I was thinking, it's going to be a strange game this evening. But it's crisp. You know, the pitches, there's a slickness to it. It's a little bit chilly, but that's perfect.
Robertson crosses left-footed in towards Salah, steered away by Stevens from the penalty spot, comes back towards Jota, again away by Ampadu for Sheffield United this time, the man on loan from Chelsea. There was just incessant driving rain before the game. One or two of our press colleagues got a soaking, walking up from the car park. Here's Henderson for Liverpool, 25 yards out, through towards Mane. That nearly turned into a fantastic ball. Mane keeps it in, back to Robertson, who shoots first time, blocked at the near post by Basham, and will rebound out of play for a throw to Liverpool in front of the two-tiered Sekeli Dalglish stand beneath one of those electronic scoreboards that are lit up in red and white. Ramsdale's not had a save to make in the second half just yet, and we're 20 minutes into it. 10 minutes into it, rather, on Talk Sport.
Getting excited.
I'm running ahead of myself.
You get excited, Joe, yeah, that's what it is.
I'm sure the closing stages will be just as thrilling as Fabinho just balloons the ball out of play. Crossfield, high over the top of Robertson, and that's exactly what Sheffield United need, isn't it, Danny Mills? They need these breaks in play as they attempt to stifle Liverpool here. No doubt Chris Wilder would certainly have taken a point before the game. And a long way still to go, but they're 35 minutes away from it.
When you're playing against a team that's better than you, and that's not being negative, that's just being acceptance. You know, player for player, they are better. Steve McLaren was on earlier. You know, when I was at Middlesbrough with Steve and with England, sometimes you have to find a way to win. What don't you want Liverpool to do? You don't want them to play free-flowing football. You don't want it to be end-to-end because you're going to get absolutely ripped apart. So what do? You make it bitty. You give away niggly little fouls. Not enough to get a booking. Just a little nudge here, a little nudge there, kick the ball out of play, stand over free kicks so they can't take them quickly. All these little tricks to slow down the game and break up the momentum.
Mane in the centre circle now for Liverpool. The score at 1-1. Henderson the near side, the right, plenty forward in red. Henderson crosses, it takes a big deflection, loops up into the sky, away by Stevens, left-footed on the volley with his instep, and out into the front row of this main stand for a Liverpool throw. Lots of banners behind the Kop end goal, almost chaotic in their nature. One of them has got a huge number of crests on it, retro crests, and the words "You'll never walk alone" and "Ale, ale, ale," all behind that goal, decorated when usually it would be packed with thousands of supporters. Henderson crosses the halfway line, and now Alexander-Arnold turning on this near side the right, tape around his socks. That's a hopeless ball. Out into touch from Alexander-Arnold. You're listening to Liverpool 1, Sheffield United 1 on TalkSport with Now TV. Don't forget you can watch Southampton against Everton and Wolves against Newcastle live tomorrow with an Now TV Sky Sports pass for just $9.99. Search Now TV. TalkSport will keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in tomorrow afternoon in the Premier League, in the Sunday session with Sam Matterface and then Darren Bent's Boot Room, all through the afternoon and into the evening.
It's been a brilliant watch up to now, but it's been bizarre, hasn't it?
Oh, Alisson, he was almost caught in possession by Burke. He hesitated, the Liverpool goalkeeper, knocks it out of play. It is a Liverpool throw, but back in the side tonight, Danny, it just seemed to take an age to clear. Burke closed him down and very nearly regained possession.
I mean, Alisson is a little bit too casual. He has the touch out of his feet, but Burke's onto him in a flash, closed him down, and Alisson's very, very fortunate to get away with that one.
Some ways, it's a microcosm for Liverpool's performance, isn't it, tonight? They're just slightly off the pace.
Well, there's been moments where they've been brilliant, and then you're thinking, oh, that's not them. That's not what they normally do. Giving the ball away under no pressure. Trent Alexander-Arnold just kicking the ball out. He's not done that for about 2 years. You know, it's just a brilliant watch, but it's a little bit bizarre.
It's strange, isn't it? Odd atmosphere. Here's Mane, though, edge of the D onto his right foot. Thought about shooting. Footed from Ampadu back to his goalkeeper Ramsdale, all in bright yellow. Ampadu was caught. Free kick to Sheffield United on the edge of their own penalty area. Sheffield United, who lost their first 4 league games of the campaign, picked up their first point. It was a late point as well at home to Fulham last weekend. But certainly, you would have to say this is the most impressive hour of football in the Premier League season so far. They haven't won since the 11th of July, Sheffield United. They were so impressive last season. You always feel with Chris Wilder that he'll turn things around eventually.
Because he's honest, and it's a hard-working side. He's not relying on magic. You know, he's not relying on, sparkling superstars to suddenly come on and turn it on. It's putting the hard work in, and it's doing the right things day in, day out, working on it, and because of that, he has a belief and he has a confidence that it will come good.
Really touched by Robertson on the Liverpool left, the left-back position, and now Burge can cross right-footed. Burke, it's over his head, flicked away by Fabinho. Now Liverpool can counter with Diogo Jota, the former Wolves man. That's a good sliding tackle from Osborne to dispossess him, and Jota is hurt, but Sheffield United will play on.
He's down, but he's not hurt.
Is he trying to just stop the play here? Well, he's on his knees, Jota, and still he won't get to his feet, but Sheffield United have every right to continue. 1-1 the score on TalkSport, and Burke is in behind Fabinho, and he's into the 18-yard box. He shoots, it's blocked by Gomez. He was selfish, he should have played it across. The last touch in the end off Burke, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Liverpool. 1-1.
I mean, he's looked really sharp, hasn't he, since he's come on. The boy just played in behind. And he goes past Fabinho like he's not there. Fabinho puts an arm out, tries to bring him down. And then Gomez at the near post. I mean, Burke, I think he had every right to shoot, didn't he? He was looking to go towards the far corner. But he's really livened things up for Sheffield United since he's come on.
Is this to be an unconventional Premier League season, you wonder, after Manchester City dropped points earlier? Liverpool stuttering here, but they've still got the best part of half an hour to get a winner, and of course, as we all know, they're more than capable. Alexander-Arnold on the near side, the right, floats it forward to Salah in the penalty area. Oh, what a goal from Salah, right on cue, took it down beautifully, flicked it beyond Ramsdale into the corner. That's the moment of magic for Liverpool, and Mo Salah in front of the Kop. It's Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 1.
And that's what Liverpool can do to you. They're not playing particularly well, they're giving the ball away, then suddenly Trent Alexander-Arnold spots the run. It's a little dink over the top of the defence. Oh, is he offside?
I think he might be.
Forget about that for a minute. I have to say, the touch from Mo Salah is exquisite. That is something that Messi would do. If Messi scores this goal, we are eulogising for months and weeks and years about that. To bring that down and then to toe poke it into the far corner is exceptional.
It's off. It's been ruled out. VAR has had a look and the goal is disallowed. And it stays 1-1, and Sheffield United will have a free kick, and Mo Salah, who had thought he'd scored with the most impudent first touch, juggling the ball and then volleying into the net, it is ruled out. It's the correct decision.
It is, and it's a shame, because the touch and the finish are sublime. There are not too many players in the world that can do that. You know, that is absolutely brilliant to see that skill, that ability. But sorry, Liverpool fans, it's the correct decision. It was offside. I mean, again, people say, yeah, but it's only just offside. It doesn't matter. You know, it's offside. And people say, well, you should move the line. But there will always be a millimetre where you're onside and a millimetre where you're offside. No matter where you put that line, there has to be a line.
And it was clear. It was clear, despite the...
I don't know about clear.
Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, in the sense that we've got the benefit of monitors here, haven't we? So we can see...
We can see the lines.
Other people can't. And it is still 1-1, live on Talk Sport. Talk Sport 2, UFC 254, coverage continues. It'll be on Talk Sport from 10. Here's Mane for Liverpool, left-hand edge of the 18-yard box. Maybe that's woken Liverpool up. He drags in the cross, up towards Salah, headed away by Stevens. Comes back to Henderson, he nudges it square.
By clear, we mean 6 inches, rather than a toenail, don't we?
Got to be more than that. Mane crosses, and Jota heads it in! And Liverpool are into the lead this time. And it's Diogo Jota with a flying header at the far post. His second Liverpool goal in front of the Kop. And it is now Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 1.
One of the smaller players on the pitch. It's just a simple worked cross. Mane down the left-hand side, just makes half a yard for himself. Doesn't do anything special. Rolls his foot over the ball, gets into a crossing position, dinks it up towards the far post, and I think it's the captain that misses it. Is it Chris Basham that doesn't quite see where Jota is, loses his man, and Jota, a very, very good header into the corner of the net. But Chris Wilder will be absolutely fuming with that. They didn't do enough to stop the cross in the first place. They allowed that to come in, and then when it does come in, I mean, it's poor defending. You're always taught as a defender, if the attacker can see your number, you're in a bad position, because you can't see him, you don't know where he is, and that's exactly what happened. You've got to get your shoulders facing down the pitch, facing towards the goal, because then you can see the cross coming in, and you can see where the man is. He was caught ball watching, had no idea where Jota was, and that gave him a free header.
That's the former England defender Danny Mills. It's Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 1 on game day on Talk Sport, the 5th of 5 exclusive commentaries across the network from the Premier League and the EFL today. Liverpool now have a free kick on this near side the right after Stevens clattered into Jota. I think Mike Dean pulled his yellow card out for Stevens. It looked as though he was certainly going to. But now Liverpool feel like they're in the ascendancy. Now there's a momentum about the champions, and there's a familiarity about the scoreline. Liverpool at the Kop end, leading by the odd goal in 3. Normal service has been resumed. They went to be denied for long. Alexander-Arnold's delivery. Firmino went in near post. That's come off Sander Berge. It will be a Liverpool corner, their 6th of the game so far.
Liverpool have been very bitty in this game. You know, they haven't been good at all. But now, this is a side of, these are the champions. Sometimes you have to grind out results when you're not playing well. They did it against Leeds. They're doing it again this evening. I thoroughly expect Liverpool to go on and win the game now.
Well, Robertson will take this corner, left-footed in, swinging from the near side of the field, headed up into the air by McBurney, comes down to Salah, back to Fabinho, who's a couple of yards from the edge of the D, very congested, whipped in by Alexander-Arnold, the flicked header clear to the far post, and Jota tries to recycle, crosses left-footed, comes off McBurney, and Liverpool have a corner again, and suddenly they're dominant, and suddenly Sheffield United are hanging on here, as you say, Danny, because they know they're still in the game at 2-1, but if they were to concede a third, it would be fatal for their hopes. They're heading for 5 defeats from 6 in the Premier League, and Liverpool are heading joint top of the table. Robertson, far side the left, despite an at times indifferent display. Fabinho, 40 yards out, pings a high ball diagonal up towards Salah, headed away by Basham, out to the near side, comes back to Henderson. Henderson finds Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum's looping cross up into the Liverpool sky, and it's cleared away by Sheffield United. Then a heavy touch from Jota, and the ball trickles out of play for a goal kick. You're listening to Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 1 on Talk Sport with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Get a quote in 60 seconds at WeBuyAnyCar.com. And Danny, what does Chris Wilder do here? With
I thought you were going to ask me what car I was going to buy for a minute.
Well, if you want. What does he do here with a quarter of the game to go?
I think it's difficult because they clearly came with a game plan. You know, they got the penalty, you know, they got 1-0 up, and you think, right, OK, gets half-time. They didn't quite make that. And you think, right, OK, we'll take 1-1 right now, and we've got to defend well, and we're going to have to, you know, dig in. Oliver Burke comes on and is looking lively up front and maybe playing on the breakaway. And then Mo Salah scores the most audacious goal, which is ruled offside correctly. And then 2 minutes, you know, you get away with that. 2 minutes later, you concede a simple header to one of the smaller players on the pitch. So now it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get back into it, I think.
And you're absolutely right. For all the effort they put in, and that has been considerable, Chris Wilder will be desperately disappointed with the manner of how they've conceded the 2 goals. But Liverpool feel like they have a mistake in them tonight, because Robertson's just miscontrolled far side. Sheffield United throw, they go back to the midway through into their own half, and Egan, the man in the middle of that triumvirate of central defenders, striding forward. Stevens with the outside of his boot, wide to the diminutive Osborne, flicks it down the near side, the left. Berg tried to knock it in field towards Lundstrom. Sheffield United have it back, 2-1 down at Anfield now, having taken the lead. Ampadu surging forward, it's a good run, footing from Fabinho on the edge of the 18-yard box though, and Alexander-Arnold clears down the right-hand channel for Liverpool. Salah tries to take it in his stride, he's blocked off by Egan. Lundstrom right in front of Jurgen Klopp. I've just seen a shot of Sir Kenny Dalglish watching on in the stands, reading the match programme.
Got his own stand to himself.
He does. His name, the words emblazoned the top of it on that far side, lit up in red. And they did, of course, so much, more than just about anybody for this club, on and off the field, and through times of such success and times of such great turbulence as well for Liverpool, of course, in the late 80s. Here's Alexander-Arnold.
The problem that Sheffield United have now is that they've only scored 1 goal from open play. You know, so only scored 3 all season so far. 2 of those have been penalties.
Here is Salah for Liverpool, edge of the D, onto his left foot, shooting opportunity maybe, nudges it wide to Robertson, plenty forward in red. Robertson looks up, checks back in field and finds Salah once more. Suddenly Liverpool look that little bit more dangerous when they go forward. You can see Salah's eyes lighting up. Already had 1 goal disallowed. Liverpool didn't take long though to establish their advantage for the first time in the game.
I mean, it is a real shame that he was 6 inches offside, if that.
It was such a great piece of skill.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, Messi scored a similar sort of goal in the World Cup now. He took it on his thigh, and then before the ball bounced, he volleyed it into the back of his net. And I think that was on his... He did that... I think he did left foot, right foot, or whichever way it was round. It was unbelievable. And Salah just did the same thing. He kept it up, and then just pokes it home before the ball hits the ground. The balance, the skill, the awareness, everything it takes to do that is exceptional.
Producer Ollie's just pointed out it was Dennis Bergkamp-esque in its execution.
Oh, it's better than that. It was Messi-esque.
2-1 Liverpool. Gomez striding forward, trying to plan a defence. He's tackled by Ampadu on the halfway line, and Sheffield United have it back. Not sure what Gomez was thinking there.
That's what Van Dijk doesn't do. Van Dijk strides forward, a bit like Rio Ferdinand used to. He'll stride into space, and then when he sees players coming towards him, he'll give the ball, he'll pass it, simple, and just, give it to somebody else. Gomez there runs himself into trouble.
He played alongside Rio Ferdinand at Leeds some time ago.
It's not... It's decision making. All these players have fantastic ability out there. But for Gomez there, it's not his ability that's let him down, it's the decision making. And that's where you always, ultimately that's the difference between, the best players and sort of average players. It's making the right decisions at the right time. All those players out there have got ability. They can all pick a pass, they can all, do things. But it's when to do it. That's the key, and making those decisions.
There will still be questions for Liverpool to answer, even if they win tonight, and they're in control of the game now, dominating possession and leading 2-1. with 18 minutes to go. But of course it is a slender lead, and in this topsy-turvy Premier League season so far, we feel even more so. Monday Night Live on TalkSport 2, Brighton against West Brom in the Premier League. Then on Tuesday, Manchester City's trip to Marseille is live on TalkSport. TalkSport 2 will bring you commentary of Chelsea at Krasnodar on Wednesday evening. Lots of live football to come across the network. Here's Osborne for Sheffield United on the near side of the field, crosses in high, headed away by Gomez from the heart of the Liverpool defence. A good header, good height and distance on it. It's come back out to the near side, the Sheffield United left once more, playing from right to left in green and gold. The Blades, who have been blunted this season, haven't won in any competition actually. They were knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Burnley on penalty kicks. The Sports Bar Weekender from 10 on TalkSport 2 if you want to have your say on the Premier League action today. 08717 223344. And here on TalkSport we'll switch to coverage of UFC 254. Now then, Gomez right inside his own penalty area, clips the ball high downfield beneath the Anfield floodlights. This main stand towers over the three remaining stands here. We have an almost bird's eye view. Firmino keeps the ball in by the corner flag as Liverpool look for the goal that would make the game safe. Firmino at the dead ball line, teasing, cutting in field, back to Henderson, in towards Mane, good interception, and now Sheffield United can stride forward on the counter with Baldock up over the halfway line, goes wide to Burke, the substitute. Sheffield United getting David McGoldrick ready to come on. Burke through towards McBurney. Alexander-Arnold gets the touch. You feel there might be a chance, there might be one chance, even if it is just one for Sheffield United in the game. You feel they're going to get one, Danny, at some point.
Yeah, I think Liverpool defence still doesn't look magnificent. We know the reasons for that. Can't shy away from it. But you're right. They're not prolific, Sheffield United, but you do feel that there will be maybe just one chance.
And here's an opportunity for Burge inside the penalty area, angled tight, drags it across, it comes towards Lundstrom, he shoots, good save by the goalkeeper, and he'll find Stevens, 25 yards out, he blasts it goalwards, blocked away by Henderson, and picked up by Sadio Mane for Liverpool. Mane clears over the halfway line, and the danger is gone, at least momentarily from a Liverpool perspective. But Sheffield United are still on the attack, balled up with a right wing cross over the head of everybody inside the penalty area. It'll be kept on this near side by Osborne, away from Alexander-Arnold. Sheffield United 2-1 down with a quarter of an hour to go. Osborne again on this near side of the field. David McGoldrick, bald-headed, wearing number 17, waits to come on the near side of the field. Chris Wilder has his arms folded, the Sheffield United boss, knows they're not out of the game just yet by any means, as Gomez heads away with McBurney in close attention, and it's out of play for a Sheffield United throw.
As long as you stay in the game, you're in with a shout. If it gets to 3-1, you're out of it, done and dusted. Even if it's 2-1 going into the last 2 or 3 minutes, you're still just thinking, well, look, let's get the ball in the box. We can disrupt this Liverpool defence. It might just fall for us. Stay in the game. He's going for it though, isn't he, Chris Wilder? Another attacking change. David
McGoldrick, the man to come on, the man who you mentioned earlier, Danny, has scored for Sheffield United in open play.
He's the only one.
The only one to do so. Back to goal as he collects his first touch, but Alexander-Arnold clears for Liverpool. For the latest odds, head to Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, as Osborne clips the ball into the area, only half away by Fabinho, comes down to McGoldrick on the half volley, and his rasping effort is just over the top.
What a hit that is! That's a really difficult skill as well. He's only just come on. He's obviously still pretty cold. He gets the ball, he lays it off, he gets into the box. It's Fabinho's header again. It's not brilliant. He hits the half volley on the rise, and it's must be only about a foot. Oh, not even that. It's about 3 inches over the crossbar. Absolutely superb strike.
13 and a half minutes to go. Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 1. The final game of the day on game day on TalkSport, and we could be heading for a frenetic finish. I'll give you those odds in just a moment. Liverpool coming forward on the far side with Robertson. Right now you can get Liverpool 1.12, Sheffield United at 70, the draw 9.8. That's all thanks to Betfair. More ways to bet, more ways to win. 18 plus, be gambleaware.org. And Danny Mills is pointing to the near side touchline because James Milner is stripped and ready to come on in the red of Liverpool.
I think that's just to shore things up a little bit. You know, get James on, get a little bit more experience in there, just to settle everything down, you know, and see the game out.
Header by Fabinho, away from McBurney. He's ended up on his back, outstretched on the turf. He took a knock there, I think, McBurney.
Well, Sheffield United's now front three: McBurney, McGoldrick and Oliver Burke. So, you know, he's really gone for it.
And bringing you full coverage of UFC 254 live right now on TalkSport 2. Once we're done here at Anfield, coverage will move over to TalkSport, and on TalkSport 2 from 10, the Sports Bar Weekender with Will Gavin and the former Aston Villa striker Gabi Agbon-Lahore, who had a good tete-a-tete with Danny Mills at half-time.
Bless him.
You must have played against each other a few times, right?
Do you know what? He's quite a lot younger than me, bizarrely. I think Gabi's... He's about 9 or 10 years younger than me.
So never gone head-to-head on a pitch.
I think we probably have, but he was probably just a wee whippersnapper of a young lad.
Here is McGoldrick for Sheffield United.
I mean, I think he's quite young. He's only 33, something like that. He's retired quite young, Gabi has. You know, and I retired nearly 12 years ago now. So I might have played with him very, very early on when he was maybe 19, 20, something like that.
Basham for Sheffield United, striding forward to the edge of the area. Bullock on his outside, pulls it back. Basham in the penalty area. Can he get his shot away? Fabinho with a crucial tackle, a vital intervention at the last. And now here is Salah up towards the halfway line, and it's 4 against 4. Liverpool in red, streaming forward now. It's Jota into the penalty area. Oh, he's run into the challenge of Stevens.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
They've got it back.
He ran into him. It didn't, you know, Stevens didn't have to do anything in particular. Jota didn't move the ball left or right. He just ran directly into him.
Milner set to come on very shortly. There are 11 minutes to go on TalkSport. Elsewhere in the Premier League today, West Ham 1, Manchester City 1, Fulham 1, Palace 2, Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. And in the Championship, Blackburn, Preston, Norwich, Reading, Luton and Stoke all picked up victories, and Exeter beat Wasps in the Gallagher Premiership final. There was commentary of that on TalkSport 2. And James Milner just stretching as he waits to come on.
I was going to say, it's a great sub to be able to bring on, isn't it? It's absolutely magnificent that you can bring on a player that's still probably one of the fittest at the club. You know, he's so reliable, it's untrue. You know, he's absolutely magnificent. His attitude's superb, and he will go on there and you know exactly what you're going to get from him.
He's such a diligent, disciplined player, and so selfless as well, isn't he, Milner? As and
also, you know, we have the James Boring Milner accounts on Twitter and whatever.
Oh, here's Osborne though for Sheffield United into the penalty area. He's got time to drag it back across. Oh, he should have found Burke inside the penalty area, but Burke's opposite number, Henderson, the Liverpool captain, was there to intercept. And my oh my, don't Liverpool look open defensively? They've been run ragged by Sheffield United in a sense, but they've been cut apart a couple of times by a side that is not proficient going forward this season.
Sheffield United look tired now. They've got 3 players on up front, so they are having a little bit of a gamble, but they're just starting to run out of steam a little bit, and the game is, as you said, becoming very open.
Salah into the penalty area, onto his left foot, hits the post. Salah wriggled away from the defender, turned inside the 18-yard box, faced up by Ramsdale, clipped the ball goalwards, hits the woodwork and comes out, and it's still just 2-1 to Liverpool.
He's a joy to watch, isn't he? A deft little touch around the corner, and then he's running at the goalkeeper, and he's got this sort of, when he's running with the ball, he's got a very low, he doesn't lift his feet up particularly high. It's a little scamper in action, isn't it? You know, his feet are always close to the ball, the way that he dribbles, can manipulate the ball, and as the goalkeeper comes out, just the deftest of little dinks over the goalkeeper, and he's very unlucky to see it come back off the inside of the post. He's an absolute joy to watch, Mo Salah.
It's not over yet at an empty Anfield. 2-1 to Liverpool, 9 minutes to go, live on TalkSport. Here is Stevens, nudges it wide to Osborne. Infield it goes to Stevens again, 5 yards from the edge of the penalty area. And Sheffield United, who put in such a gallant effort, you get the sense they're tiring now. 3 strikers on the field, McGoldrick and Burke, and McBurney still on through the middle. Stevens has pushed up into the Liverpool half, wide to Osborne near side of the field, and on to Burke. Burke has got pace to Burke, cuts in field away from Alexander-Arnold, back to Sander Burge. Burge onto his right foot. His penalty that put Sheffield United in front initially seems a long time ago now. They trail by 2-1. Plenty forward in green and gold. Here is Ampadu for Sheffield United, edge of the penalty area, invited to shoot and blazes it over the bar.
Wrong decision. 25 yards out from goal, you've been building the play, and he decides to take the shot on. I mean, that's a lottery shot, isn't it? That's 1 in a million job, but that's going to nestle in the top corner.
And it didn't. He's not scored a senior goal, Ethan Ampadu, actually. Here comes the change for Liverpool, might be a double change. James Milner's going to come on, and Diogo Jota leaves the field. His goal separates the two sides. He scored his first goal for Liverpool here against Arsenal and has followed it up with another at Anfield. And Takumi Minamino, who is yet to score a Premier League goal, is also going to come on, and Roberto Firmino goes off. And I think a great deal of relief for Firmino as well, Danny, that he's got off the mark again after, by his standards, a very long time, a semi-goal drought.
I think he divides opinion, isn't he? He's so vital to the way that Liverpool play. I think Liverpool fans really appreciate what he does, but people look at his stats as a centre-forward and go, well, they're not very good. And actually, they're not, in all honesty. But that's not just his role in the team. He offers far more than that, and he's so vital to the way that they play.
Ball up for Sheffield United, plays a 1-2 with Basham, then threads it down the right touchline up to the edge of the penalty area. Good covering by Gomez, who was caught late on the follow-through as he cleared by Basham, and it's a free kick to Liverpool, left-hand edge of the 18-yard box. Liverpool's busy schedule continues across the next few days even. Midtjylland in the Champions League here next Tuesday, and then West Ham next Saturday, live on Talk Sport as part of game day. Liverpool against West Ham at 5:30 next Saturday, and we've also got Sheffield United's next game at home to Manchester City, live on Talk Sport next Saturday lunchtime, and it doesn't get any easier for Chris Wilder and co. I think will he feel, if the score stays like this, Danny Mills, that he'll feel hard done by? Do you think he'll feel his team perhaps deserved a point, or is that asking too much, maybe?
I think they've worked hard. They've disrupted Liverpool at times. We said at the start, didn't we, that Liverpool have a little bit more quality. You know that all over the pitch. You need Liverpool to have an off night, which they've done, and Sheffield United have to be perfect for them to win the game. And Sheffield United haven't been perfect.
And they've switched off twice, and that's where Liverpool lead 2-1. Pulled up on the far side for Sheffield United, infield to McBurney. McBurney a long way from goal with his back to goal. Burge with the long hair nudges it square to Ampadu, much the smaller of the two players. Wide to the near side and Osborne. Osborne finds McGoldrick. Lots of possession for Sheffield United, but can they carve out that clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity with 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining? Chris Wilder and his assistant Alan Neil on the touchline. There's McGoldrick into the penalty area, left-hand edge of it. Plays it back now to Burge. Burge 35 yards out, wide to the far side, and Baldock. Baldock looks up from the corner of the penalty area, crosses high, up goes Stevens, away by Mo Salah, on the volley, up into that dark night sky, nodded forward by Ampadu, drops from McGoldrick. Liverpool can't get it clear just yet. Little flick wide to McGoldrick again. McGoldrick plays it in low. It's come back to Stevens on the angle. Stevens shoots, away this time by Gomez. Liverpool nervy defensively, but they've got it clear, and now they can counter-attack. Wijnaldum bursting towards halfway, fouled by Burge, yellow card, free kick to Liverpool.
Liverpool just need to slow the game down, into the last 5 minutes now, and see this game out, because it's one of those games where Liverpool have done enough to win the game, but they're not clear. They've not completely dominated this. It could easily be one of those games where last 2 or 3 minutes they let in a silly goal, and that cost them 2 points.
At the moment they're heading level on points with their Merseyside rivals at the top of the table. They will stay second, Liverpool, by virtue of goal difference, and Everton will have a game in hand actually. Here's Wijnaldum, near side, infield to Salah, into the penalty area, right hand edge of it. Salah onto his left foot, shoots, blocked. It was A slip from Salah as he did strike the ball, so he didn't catch it cleanly. Now Robertson on the far side, the left, forward to Mane, corner of the 18-yard box, turning away from the defender. Can he pull out a cross here, Mane, surrounded by green shirts? Back to Robertson. Robertson's not going to force the issue. Drives infield instead. Finds Mane, who looks up, curls one over the top and into the Cop end. 3 to go, plus stoppage time. 2-1 Liverpool. Chris Wilder has a look at the watch. If you're looking for coverage of UFC 254, it's live right now, the big fight tonight on TalkSport 2. And as soon as we're done at Anfield, coverage will be here on TalkSport. And then from 10 on TalkSport 2, it's the Sports Bar Weekender. And now Burke for Sheffield United. Back to McGoldrick, steers it wide to the far side, and Baldock back in field to find Burge, edge of the penalty area now. Basham wide to McGoldrick again. 2-1 down Sheffield United. Cross McGoldrick is cleared by Milner. Liverpool forward up towards Henderson, the furthest player forward at the midway point of his own half, and he tears on a run down the left-hand side. Has he got the pace to beat Sander Burge? He's got teammates drifting forward in support rather than driving forward. And back it goes to Milner again. Anfield cold and empty on this dark October night. Salah infield to Wijnaldum once more, onto his left foot, shooting opportunity, shot is deflected, good block by Ampadu. Sheffield United still in the game, and I don't know, in some ways perhaps they'd have taken that at this point, still in the game at 2-1 down, but McGoldrick's given it away to Sadio Mane. He's into the penalty area, forced wide of goal, goes down on the edge of the box, no free kick. There are 2 minutes to go, and is there to be one last opportunity for an equaliser perhaps for Sheffield United?
Well, what are we expecting? 2-3 minutes of injury time? We're not expecting too much. There's not been too many stoppages, is there? Sometimes there's normally, in the last sort of 2 minutes of normal time and injury time, there's one chance, one big chance, and it's can you keep your composure and put it away?
Fabinho in a foot race with Burke. His central defensive colleague Gomez had to come across, and
silly from Burke.
Free kick.
Gomez was chasing the ball down, going the wrong way. He could only really put the ball out of play, and Burke's just given away a needless foul. Sheffield United could have had a decent throw-in.
It is worth saying, isn't it, Danny, that this Liverpool, this new central defensive partnership, unorthodox as it is, Fabinho and Gomez, they're going to take time to,
of course they are,
settle in together.
And it's not Fabinho's natural position. People have said, oh yeah, but he's filled in. You can fill in from time to time, and you can have a good
odd game.
Yeah, and you can get away with it. But to do this, to play this for 6 months, to be as good as they're going to have to be to win the league,
which he's going to have to do, isn't it?
And as good as they're going to have to be then to win the Premier, the Premier League, and then to go well in the Champions League, it's unbelievably difficult.
Well, all eyes on the fourth official. 30 seconds to go of normal time. 2-1 to Liverpool here, and Diogo Jota's goal separates the two sides. His first Premier League start at Anfield, marked with a goal. Milner fouled. Liverpool have a free kick. The 90 minutes is nearly up. Jurgen Klopp takes a look at his watch, pacing around at the base of this main stand, which is steep and cavernous and holds 20,000, a huge roof above us, really quite spectacular. Now Mane for Liverpool in the left wing position, cleared away by Basham. 3 added minutes. Well done, Danny Mills. Absolutely right. Forward by Gomez, headed away by Basham again. Drops from Minamino. He could have played it through to Mane, but Egan was there to intercept. And it's a throw to Sheffield United on the right. Danny Mills, who is your man of the match with WeBuyAnyCar.com?
I mean, it's been a really difficult one this evening because, nobody's been particularly outstanding. But I'm going to give it to... who should I give it to? I'm going to give it to Mo Salah. Just for I know that the goal was disallowed, but it was just absolutely fantastic, the skill he's shown. And there's been 2 or 3 moments where he's been different to everybody else on the pitch.
Certainly, Mo Salah. Danny Mills is man of the match with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Going to quote in 60 seconds with WeBuyAnyCar.com. A minute through, 3 added at the end of the game. Liverpool heading, well, at least level on points with Everton at the top. And Sheffield United will remain in the bottom 3 with just a point to their name, just like Fulham, who lost today at home to Crystal Palace. A Premier League of the haves and the have-nots. Forward by Ramsdale for Sheffield United, who are desperate now. Flicked by McBurney, and here's Burke on the edge of the area. Oh, he's curled it wide. What a chance that was for Oliver Burke. Shooting opportunity, head in hands, and as well they might be, because he had the freedom of the edge of the D to curl one goalwards, and he curled it lamely over the top.
Always happens. Always get a big chance in the dying moments of a game. I said you just need that composure. But again, it was, McBurney just pushed Fabinho out of the way and won the flick on. And Burke, he controlled the ball, and then he snatches at it. He had a little bit more time than he thought. And that's what I'm talking about, those moments. Making that decision, just taking an extra breath, having that composure to make sure you hit the target.
Minute to go, 2-1 Liverpool. Wijnaldum down the near side, the right. Won't be at any great rush, you wouldn't think. He tries to jink away from Stevens. He's going to head for the corner flag here. Is he Wijnaldum? No, in field through the legs of Stevens. McGoldrick slides in, and the Dutchman Wijnaldum has it back. So full of energy and purpose and intelligence, Wijnaldum. He finds Henderson. He flicks it down the right for Liverpool. Off the leg of Minamino. 30 seconds to go here for Sheffield United, whose gallant efforts look like they're going to be in vain. There's still no win over Liverpool in the Premier League since 1994, as Alexander-Arnold clears away. 15 seconds left. The header by Henderson. He finds Wijnaldum just over the halfway line. Salah to chase a raking ball. Gets in behind Egan momentarily. The defender slipped. Did well to hook it away there, John Egan.
Great recovery, wasn't it?
Certainly was. And that's job done for Liverpool as the final whistle goes.